I want to share a story with you. In a former life, I was an athlete. And I ran track and I swam competition. I'm going to tell this story really fast, so I want to tell you this other really great. I want to have you go through this experience. And I swam the 50-yard dash freestyle, but I had one small problem. I would always, say always, I would always come in dead last. Say dead last. No, say dead last like if I weren't around. Say dead last. That's how you say it, like she came in. Right? That's how you say it. That's okay. Say it in my face. And so I would always come in dead last. If they had 6 lanes, I come in 6. They had 8 lanes, I come in 8. They had 10 lanes, I come in 10. And so this particular day, I was tired. I'd had 13 swim meets over the summer, and I'd come in dead last on every single one. So I'd always get this honorable mention. You know, the athletes in here know about the honorable mention, right? It's that ribbon that says, thank you for showing up. You know that one, right? It's the one that says, you didn't do diddly squat, but we don't want you to leave here empty-handed. Here you go, y'all. Come back now. You hear? So I had a bunch of honorable mentions. And so the day before the swim meet, I go to my grandmother's house, the safest place on the planet. I said, Grandma, I'm tired. And some of you may be there. You know, we're here being inspired, but let's be honest. Let's be authentic inside the whole journey. The part that I love about my journey is that I get to tell you the truth. I'm not going to try to, because I'm a secret lady, I'm not going to allow anybody to put me in a box to not be real. Yes, yes? Like it's freedom and authenticity. And that day was a bad day. So I said, Grandma, I'm tired. I'm tired. And if this is you, just raise your hand silently if you anything I'm saying you can resonate with. I said, Grandma, I'm tired of putting my all in and feeling like I'm not getting anything back out. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I said, Grandma, I'm tired of showing up and no one seems to even acknowledge that I'm here. They just have expectations of me. They don't say that. There's no acknowledgement for just showing up. I said, Grandma, I'm tired of not hearing thank you. I might come in last, but I gave it my best. That was the best I had. I said, Grandma, I quit. She said, quit? I said, quit, ma'am? How am I supposed to say it? She said, come sit here. She said, Grandma wants to tell you a story. I said, oh, she's going to grandma-nize me. She's going to make me think I can fly. She sat down and she said, baby, you might not know this because you're only 15. She said, and I'm going to say this to you because whether you're in this space now or you may have been in this space or you may be on your way to this space, just hold this. I love what Malik said. He said, is it Malik? I want to pronounce correct. Malik said, you know, you write things and they're speaking to your future. I just love that. You know, so just store this in your pocket if it's not for you now. It might be for you in the future. She said, baby, because that's what she said. She said, baby, she said, I don't know if you know, but you were built from the best. She said, so I need to remind you that quitters never win and winners never quit. She said, your grandparents, see, they had a hard life. And they many times wanted to stop. But they didn't because quitters never win and winners never quit. She said, your grandparents, baby, they didn't have laptops and cell phones. They didn't even have cars. They worked sometimes in the fields until the fingers burst with blisters and their feet burst with blisters, and they wanted to stop, but they didn't because quitters never win and winners never quit. She said, so, honey, I don't know if you thought you had the option of quitting. And she said, but Grandma need to tell you, you need to take that option off the table because that's not who you are. That's not what you're built of. So I got up and I walked out and I was like, I'm never coming over here to quit again. The next day I walked in and I saw the worst sight ever. The worst sight ever in the gym. My entire family in the bleachers. Now there's only one thing worse than coming in dead last. It's having your entire family witness. You coming in what? I go over to the judge And I said, Judge, could I just get my honorable mention and leave? I know how this is going to end. He said, no. I said, I'm here for the 15-16 freestyle. He says, oh, you missed your heat already. They swam. I said, oh, cool. He said, wait, Coach, do you want her to swim with the 17, 18-year-olds? I was like, oh, no. They have me as appetizers. He said, my coach said, yes. He said, there's one lane open right in the center of the pool. You want her to swim? My coach was like, Lisa, go ahead. I was like, Coach, I don't need to swim. She goes, yeah, you need the practice. I said, I know how to lose. I have mastered losing. I have a loser shrine at home. Thank you very much. Go ahead, Lisa. I get on deck, and I got to tell you, there's a big difference between a 15-year-old girl and an 18-year-old girl. At 15, I had cornrows going back with matching blue berets. At 18, Speedo cap. At 15, I had a lace bathing suit, lace going down. At 18, Speedo. At 15, hi, how you guys doing? Hi, my name is Lisa. Could you wait for me? When you come, let's go to the bathroom together. At 18, I got on deck, and some of you might be here right now. Swimmers to your mark. I said, I don't know how I'm going to get through this time. I've done everything I know how to do. This is scary. Some of you might be there. Some of your families might be there. Sit. You said just have faith. Just believe in the unseen. Ask, believe, and receive. And I know, like I know, that I deserve to win. I don't quite know how all the time, but I know I deserve it. Pow! The gun went off. I hit the water. Quitters never win. Winners never quit. Quitters never win. Y'all help me. Winners never quit. Quitters never win. Winners never quit. Quitters never win. Winners never quit. I drew my right arm back. There was one girl even with me. I said, oh, today she comes in what? Dead last. Quitters never win. Winners never quit. Quitters never win. Winners never quit. I did the flip turn because back then I knew how. Quitters never win. Winners never quit. Quitters never win. Winners never quit. Quitters never win, winners never quit. I hit the wall. I looked to my left. There was no one there. I looked to my right. There was no one there. But you know that negative chatter in our head, right? I said, dang, I'm so slow. They got out the pool already? What? I'm getting slower by the day. Like there's no ripples in the water or anything. I look up at my coach, and she's going crazy. Lisa, look. I'm like, what, look. I look behind me, the first person that hit the halfway mark. But you know our negative chatter, right? I said, Coach, was I supposed to swim 3 laps? Yes? My coach runs over to me. She goes, Lisa, what did you do differently? I've been training with you all summer long. I've coached you. What have you done different? I was like, what are you talking? I put the barrettes in my hair. I went to my grandma's house yesterday, and she taught me something. She taught me quitters never win and winners never quit. So I just chanted that the whole time I was swimming. She was like, what have you been chanting? I was like, I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose. I said, what happened, Coach? What happened? She said, you just broke the 17-18 national record. Yes. The only variable that changed was the conversation going on in my head. The only variable that changed was what I could believe I could do. Nothing else changed.